This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of another purge of the BS, sanctioned by the First Amendment. Frustration levels 0 to 100 have been authorized for use during this purge. All weapons are restricted. Government officials have not been granted immunity from the purge of the BS and shall undoubtedly receive the smoke. Commencing at the sound of the gong, any and all BS, especially unnecessary goofiness, will be purged without prejudice. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be available, but they will be busy because they too will be watching the purge of the BS. Blessed be those who have already been victims of some BS. May God be with you all.
Welcome to another Purge of the BS Tuesday edition. I want to thank IMZ, the lovely IMZ, for stopping in nice and early, making sure that the sound is ready for the people that will be stopping in. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like, you hit that subscribe, jump in the chat. Let's have a little conversation. We're going to cover a couple of different things today, but before we get started, I just want to give a special shout to all of the people who have been helping keep the channel growing. You guys really appreciate the shares, the redirects, all types of stuff. The support is real. And there's a segment of us out here that is speaking the truth and having good conversations, and we're sticking together out there. So shouts to all of the content creators, all of the musicians, people, the old OG rap artists that's letting them know that hip hop ain't dead, all of the nostalgia, everybody from Gen X, shouts to y'all, man. Now, shouts to Sebastian Palega stopping in as well. I haven't seen you in a little bit. Good to see you, Sebastian. We are going to definitely get into this today because, as usual, I got shit to do. So, can't be here all day, but I will be here in a minute. So, I'm glad you guys stopped in. Make sure you hit the like button on your way in, and you jump in the chat, give it a thumbs up, a wave to my mods, let them know you're here. Brand new subscriber. So, I want to start the day off by, before we get into the serious stuff later, I know that there is a turmoil building right now over this story that has come to light about Spirit Airlines. Yes, Spirit Airlines, the first-class, top-notch airline Spirit with the canary yellow planes, has filed bankruptcy for the second time in less than a year. Which is weird to me, because I didn't think you could file bankruptcy more than once in the same year, but whatever. I guess you get it different when you're a business. Chapter 11, talk about. I mean, Trump did what, like 30 of them? He did a bunch of them. A lot of these business types, they do a bunch of them. Maybe it's not a big deal, but here's the funny part. They're going to have to pawn off the plane. It's not enough to just stop flying the things. You got to part them out. You got to sell them. So if anybody has $1 million or so and you want a plane, might want to reach out to Spirit, see if you can get you one at a discounted price, because you got to sell some planes, okay? So, let's see what we got here. Spirit Airlines files for second bankruptcy as low-cost carrier struggle. Now, let me tell you what about it, okay? Let me just tell you, Spirit Airlines ain't as cheap as it used to be. That, to me, would be why they're losing business, is because the honest truth is they're charging way more for the same exact service that you were getting before. They have less flights, so they're not as comfortable, full flight all the time. So instead of being able to get your own row, now you got to deal with, somebody that should have bought 2 seats right next to you, or a screaming baby. Who knows? But nonetheless, the airline's president and CEO, Dave Davis, wrote an open letter to the customers about this restructuring process and to ensure the long-term success of it. Now, those that don't know, I believe Spirit Airlines planes were initially the company TSA Airlines, not TSA, the people that check your bags at the front. But there was an airline carrier, I believe, went out of business back in like the 80s, somewhere around the 80s. late 80s, right? They had a bunch of planes, and apparently those planes got reused, and that's how Spirit got their plane. Painted them bright yellow, wrote Spirit on the side. Get you a little bit of nostalgia from the 80s when you fly in the Spirit plane. That's why they still have ashtrays in the bathroom. You haven't been able to smoke on planes in decades. So why is there an ashtray in the bathroom? Because it's an old plane. So just know that when you get on, okay? But nonetheless, Spirit has, of course, struggled to compete with other major airlines that offer various levels of service and fly to more destinations. That is true. Spirit used to be $60 you could pretty much get anywhere in the U.S. Well, $100 you can get. $60 you can get anywhere on the East Coast if you live on the East Coast. It was a good deal. I will say this. I flew on Spirit a few times myself. Wasn't a big fan of the sound of the planes. Kind of noisy. But the cost, you couldn't beat it. You couldn't beat it. So then all of a sudden they started bundling shit. You know, adding in bag fees and all this other stuff and saying, well, instead of you paying for it one thing at a time, we're just going to make these bundles and you select the bundle. But the bundle is 3 times as much as the bare fare used to be. So Spirit Airlines has been digging themselves in a hole for quite some time. You cannot charge people more for a service if you're not providing more service. They will just go pay more to a place that's providing more service. And you guys have seen the clips. There's always a fight at the damn Spirit Airlines counter. There's always somebody too drunk from drinking Tito's on the plane. It's a problem. Spirit's like the Carnival Cruise of the sky, you know? You know about the Carnival Cruise. For those of you that watched the news. Been some riffraff gotten involved and they basically messed up the whole thing for everybody. But Spirit, to me, needs to be sold off. I believe that they're already charging too much for these flights anyway. I believe that we probably should refurbish these planes because they're from when Die Hard was the top movie in America. So maybe we avoid an up-and-coming problem from overusing these planes because that's what they're going to do. They reduce flights. That means the planes that they do have to do more flights, have to do more miles. That means they're going to depreciate and disintegrate faster. So maybe Spirit should just, maybe they should just go ahead, sell off their planes, get their money, back out of the aviation business, and put their money into AI or something. That's what I think. Between the customer service at the counters, between the fights, between the ricketiness and the oldness of the planes, between the fact that they, you know, the fare is way too damn high now for the same thing that 3 years ago you could get for $100 round trip. Now you're looking at $300 for the same service. There's nothing different about it. It's the same damn plane. They didn't get a new plane. So you know what? I don't feel bad at all for Spirit, but it says that they have admitted that they may not survive another year. And I'll say, you know what? Good riddance. Good riddance. Go ahead and sell them planes off, part them out. Let's get some fresh stuff in the sky. You got way too many people flying for you to be using these rickety old, you know, from when Michael Jordan was a rookie in the NBA. That's when these planes are from. They're from that time period. Planes have been around almost as long as I've been around. You know what I'm saying? So it's time to retire that fleet. Y'all refurbished it. I appreciate that y'all did that. You were giving people flights. I remember I went to Vegas a few years ago. Round trip was like $400. And it was a nonstop flight. And that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. Now you try to take that same flight, you're going to pay about $800 on Spirit. See, that's disrespectful. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like you're telling us that we don't remember when the same service was half this price. And you want us to just accept that you guys are coming up on these prices like this. So you know what? That's why they're out of business. Because they tried to go up on the prices to get more money. They minimized the flights. So now you can't even catch flights all the time. You got to catch them one in the morning, one in the evening if you want a nonstop. Or you got to fly to Denver some damn where and sit there for 6 hours. Nobody wants to do that. Well, most people don't. Some people like to party in the city, they have layovers. Y'all, I'm sure you didn't mind. But for the rest of us that just want to get where the hell we got to go, a layover is not what we're looking for. So Spirit Airlines shot themselves in the foot. They should have never done what they did a year ago with reducing the flights and upping the price at the same time. So less options, higher price. People were definitely going to be unsatisfied by that. And this is what happened. So you know what? Purging from this restructuring, blah, blah, blah. They said it was targeted on getting more money, but they didn't get more money. They had to file bankruptcy. You know what? I'm through with Spirit. Done what they had to do, which is keep that thing low and get a good deal on the gas. Hire less people with better attitudes for the counters. You know, there was a whole restructuring that Spirit needed to do. Not just about the planes. So they're in bankruptcy because karma is a bitch. She does not mind waiting a little bit to come back and bite you in that. Maybe within a year, we'll find other airlines might come down on their prices. We just get rid of Spirit. You know, just get rid of it. Get rid of it. Just let it go. Now look, hope y'all hit the like button already. Got two streams going here. Got the fork streams going. Got the vertical stream. We got the what is that? Full screen, horizontal, landscape, panoramic, whatever the phrase is you want to use. You know what I'm talking about. And so, whichever stream you want to be on, make sure. But nonetheless, planning on catching the Spirit flight soon. They said their current flights, if you already booked it, you still got it. But at some point, you're going to hear them come out and say, yeah, Spirit's ceasing operations due to not making any money because we overcharge people for service and they stop coming. That's what's next. So anyway. Depression. Oh, let me bring depression. Sorry, if the sound is jumpy, apologize for that. Wiping down the mixer, and I probably turned a knob or two. Happens. It happens, but I appreciate you, Sebastian. You being, you know, you guys in my mods are my ears, eyes outside of the. I can't hear myself at all. I can hear the clips when we play them, but I don't hear myself. There's no me in my ears. So you guys are always going to be my best sound check. So secondarily, because we're moving right through, we're going to get to the thing with the damn Brittany, Renner, and PJ Washington. The reason why I had to do this is because I'm getting sick and tired of seeing the situation continue. And so before we get into all of that, I'm going to try to go through some feel-good stuff, right? Now, I don't know about this clip. I've been trying to watch it because somebody sent it to me, and the damn caption was, you know, Tyrese is on the internet crying again. I don't know exactly what that means. You know what I'm saying? So the clip is pretty long, and I don't think we're going to make it all the way through it. We're going to end up having to skip through it because at some point it's either going to go too long or it's going to annoy me. So at some point we're definitely going to have to skip through it. Give me a second here. All right. See what we got here. Tyrese. This thing says it's 26. How's he crying for 26 minutes? No, I'm going to give him a second. I'm going to see what he has to say and see what direction it's going. Has anybody seen this already? All right. Crying about
another crying video.
Yeah, well, at least he started by admitting that.
This one
Thank
is
you.
different.
Oh, it is? Okay. Already off to a bad start, Tyrese.
Another crying video, but this one is different.
5.
I woke up this morning with a heart full of gratitude.
Okay.
Here we go, crying on the internet again, right? No. A gratitude cry. A good old heart full of gratitude, cry. When is the last time you opened your eyes to actually see how blessed you are?
Good question. Is this running at 1.5? Because it still sounds slow.
You may not have all the money in the world. You may be just chugging along. But do you see God in the bits and pieces and what he's doing for you? Or do you only recognize God when he does something big?
Okay, here we go, Tyrese. Go ahead and talk to him. I hear what you're saying, though, so far. I'm tuned in. Let's see what we got.
Some intimate and beautiful exchanges and moments with God. And I know it's him. I know it's him because it's impossible that something that I thought was on the brink of destruction got turned around. I might be handsome. I might have the gift of the gab. I might know how to, I might live in this. I might be an entertainer. I might be all of these different things, but I can't say that I'm responsible for that. I didn't fix that. I'm not the reason I didn't file for bankruptcy just last week. I'm not the reason that some way, somehow, all of these legal fees that have stressed me out, all of the legal fees that I owe my ex, somehow showed up. I'm good, but I'm not that good. How can you not recognize the goodness in God?
I'll pause it right there. I didn't know what the video was about. I'll tell you right now, the man has a really... Sometimes, when you look around at your situation, all you focus on is the negative. You won't see God's thing. Taking care of some things. Things that you would not be able to deal with. And the ingredients just line up and things are done. And if you're not intuitive enough, if you're one of them people that doesn't believe that anything else could have influence, call it whatever you want. But I believe that there are people that are favored by God, and I believe there are people that are favored by the devil. Okay? And those things show up in different ways. Both unexplained. But I think it's the product that you receive, positive or the negative, or you know what I'm saying. But I'm with Tyrese so far. I thought he was gonna be on here crying about his ex or something crazy. He's just glad he was able to have the money to pay her legal fee, and he's thanking God for it. I don't think I can't fault the man for that one. I'll give him a couple more minutes. We'll see where it goes.
When he shows up every single time, every time. Some of y'all are missing out. Oh, you're missing out.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you out here trying to figure it all out by yourself. You out here thinking that your marriage is going to last without inviting Jesus in to help you through all the stuff. You think that car note going to get paid because you putting on a nice outfit to drive that car that's behind 5-6 months in payments. You think that mortgage and that rent is just going to somehow get paid. See, you think it's about you. And I'm here to tell you, if you invite God into your most intimate and vulnerable places and spaces, oh, you're gonna see. Oh no, don't diminish God. Don't make it seem like you can press a button. He go, bing, 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 bing. My wish is your command. No, it's so much more intimate than that.
Right, though.
My father just passed away. I went to Charleston, South Carolina yesterday. It's a brother that's on CNN. He just celebrated 10 years of marriage. So he brought Bishop T.D. Jakes to Charleston, South Carolina to renew his vows with his beautiful wife.
Brought T.D. Jakes?
This man paid me to go and sing to his wife. I said, Tyrese is a favorite. Sweet lady, lately. What am I going to do? Stay. My wife loves you, bro. I just want to surprise her with you. I missed my flight. And I was like, Bishop T.D. Jakes is going to be there? My father just died. Oh, I can use a hug from Jakes. I need this so badly. But I missed my flight. So the good people at Delta Airlines, it's all God. Oh, you talented, Tyrese, but are you this talented? I missed my flight. I decided to not leave the airport and pray.
Did you go to the counter?
Let this man down.
Because that's what you
He could have
normally
invited
should do.
anybody to sing at his wedding. Maybe the flight was canceled because God just wanted me to stay at home and just mourn and process.
A second, didn't he say he missed the flight? Now he said the flight is canceled. Hey, you know what? I'm not gonna pick at it. Sounds like it's gonna be a good testimony. But I'm just saying, when you leave out some of the details, it makes people like me say, huh? But other than that, I'm gonna be honest, most people, you know, who are celebrities, if they happen to have a flight issue, a lot of these companies are way nicer to than regular folks. Like if I miss a flight, oh, tough shit. You're gonna double pay, and they're gonna put like a strike on your account. It's like a bad rating because you missed the flight. Like that's how they do us regulars. So, but keep going, Tyrese. I'll listen. I'm gonna let them go.
Something said, stay at the airport. My assistant, hey, should we send the driver back to pick you up? I said, no. All of the other flights
Like rich people problems right
full.
now.
There's no room. There's no way for you to get on another flight.
Get another airline.
I just sat there. I didn't move. I said, God, I trust you. I'm going to get on this flight. Whatever the next flight is, it don't matter what airline. I'm going to stay right here, and I'm going to let you fix it. On behalf of the sanctuary of marriage, this man wants me to be there for his wife. I'm going to let you fix it, God. I missed this flight. The other thing that I was pissed about, yesterday was the deadline for the Grammys. Scrambling, trying to figure out, should I drop another album? Will I be able to drop another album? I ended up sitting at this airport for 4 hours. I'm on the phone with the engineers, Richard Purge, Jaime, my engineer, for the whole 4 hours. Mixing songs. Yesterday was great. I'm mixing songs. The album is called Painfully Beautiful. Beautiful Pain now has a cousin named Painfully Beautiful. I'm sitting there. I'm on the phone. People next to me think I'm crazy. I'm singing all loud, saying, no, the song is supposed to end with that run, not that run. No, not that. No, it's still pitchy. It's this, it's that. I'm literally on the phone mixing Painfully Beautiful while I'm at the airport. So I missed my flight. I got 4 hours to mix my song, hoping that I can get it dropped and released yesterday before the Grammy cutoff. The instrumental album for Beautiful Pain got released.
Oh, this
in
was
time for
so
the
he
Grammy
could
cutoff.
tell us about his new
No
project.
vocals. It's called Beautiful Pain.
Okay, I get it. I mean, you know, you sold it. You sold it really well, Tyrese. You brought God in. You had some tears, especially in the beginning. But the bottom line is Tyrese has a new project he wants to know about. And he's very grateful that he has this new project and that apparently he was able to make a flight after missing the flight. Even though he said canceled for a second, but he missed the flight. But let's just be real here. Let's purge the BS on that. 9 times out of 10, when you miss a flight, it's your fault. Like you was late. The flight it doesn't take off early. Like you see what I'm saying? The flight does not take off early. It'll take off late. But I have never had a flight where it's like 30 minutes before we even supposed to be pushing back. They already in the sky. It doesn't work like that. The schedule is there for safety reasons because they're plotting on other planes being in the sky. So if you missed the flight, Tyrese, that was your fault. Don't put that on God that he rescheduled your flight. That was your fault, and you had an assistant to deal with things behind the scene. I'm not saying God wasn't blessing you. Maybe there was a reason you weren't supposed to be on that flight. Maybe it was so you could mix the songs. But I see what you did there. That was good. He had me, though. He had me. So just for y'all that don't know, apparently Tyrese has a project coming out called Painfully Beautiful. And the reason why is because it's the cousin of Beauty. He made the Grammy deadline. He apparently made it to this wedding and sang Sweet Lady and all the classic Tyrese's. And that's what happened. So, okay. All right. I think it's interesting that it got a Tyrese clip in this episode about relationships and children. Crazy. But anyway, all right, Tyrese, we got the point. Thank you, sir, for your breakdown of gratitude. And he is right. You should be very thankful because you don't necessarily have to be here. Like, you could be gone. You could not be part of the society. You could not have an opportunity to create a legacy. You could have been the one that got caught in the bag or swallowed. Say it, but that's not what happened. You. So that means that you went through a lot to get here. And I don't think that you just get pushed off into the sea. I do believe that there is a higher power that has a purpose for each person. Now, whether or not they willingly accept and complete this purpose is part of the whole free will thing, which is why you needed Jesus to come and sacrifice himself for your sins, because you was going to screw up. This was known. The human with free will screws up. That's why when we program AI to be able to think for itself, it starts screwing up. That free will thing, it's a flesh thing. Problematic. So thank you, Tyrese, for your little soliloquy. We appreciate it. All right? Give him a little applause for it. Took me a minute to get it, though. I was like, what's this about? But I should have known something was up when he started talking about he wanted a hug from TD Jakes. Might want to not get a hug from TD. Yes. Okay. So, I'm through with this guy. Just saying. Just saying. Right, just saying. Wasn't TD Jakes the power bottom with the Diddy thing? Wasn't that just a couple months ago? Oh. He was excited. He said, Bishop Jakes gonna be there. I need a hug from him. One of them bear hugs, huh? But we got it. Good job, Tyrese. Good publicity. Way to go, buddy. Made the Grammy dead. So what do we have next? Got me on that. Okay, well, who else? Oh, we got another one that's doing stuff to remain relevant right now. I'm not sure what this one's about. Will Smith has been recently in the headlines again. And it started with some claim that he had an AI enhanced crowd. And that's some Trump shit. Like, who cares about crowd size, really? And what they did do, there wasn't AI enhancement. They did admit to the fact that they used some still images of the crowd, and they created generative video of the same people. So they weren't necessarily not there. They just weren't in motion the way that the thing professed. It's weird, but I understand. Like, yes, if you took a picture of me at a concert with my hands up, right, and then made a generated video of me with my hands up, but my hands are waving, is that AI generated? Yes. But is that fake? It's like halfway fake, right? Because I was there, I just wasn't doing that. So it is showing a person doing something that they didn't actually do. That would be considered problematic based on YouTube standards. So I don't really care, though, personally. I think if Will Smith has decided to utilize AI for his business purposes, why not? Everybody else is using it. You know what I'm saying? So apparently he went on some podcast and confused some people with his outlook on. So we're going to find out what he's talking about. I don't know either. So y'all make sure you hit the damn like button. Hit it right now while I get this clip over. Right?
What does Will Smith believe is the meaning of life?
Well, that's a big one. Just sit here for 30 seconds.
Right up? Mm-hmm.
Look at me. Now look at you while you're looking at me, while you're looking at me.
Just get it. Woo.
Does he know how goofy he looks to himself?
You're right. That's where you will find the meaning of life.
What?
That's where you'll find it.
All right, hold on. Maybe I missed it. Let's go back here. The question was, what's the meaning of life? And he says, basically, stare at me and then look at you through me. So the meaning of life is what? To imprint yourself on other people so that they view you? I don't know. I'll play it one more time for y'all that just came in. What's up, Albon? Thank you for stopping in.
What does Will Smith believe is the meaning of life?
Okay. Brian.
Well, that's a big one. Just sit here for 30 seconds.
Right up? Mm-hmm.
He's like nervous, though. He's like nervous that he's looking at Will Smith. Like, I saw this movie a while ago. It's called Blind Spotting. They had a scene like this. I'll pull it up in a second. I won't get hit. But it's like when you stare at a person, there's something weird that happens where you just feel like it's funny. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're just staring at somebody, staring contest, whatever it is, you're just looking at them. If they're super intense, it's some reason it makes you laugh. I don't know what that's about. I've been in this position before where somebody was giving me an intense ass look and I just bust out laughing because I'd be like, it's not that serious. That's how my brain is thinking. Like, are you looking at me all serious like you about to eat me alive? And Will Smith does have a very serious look on his face. It's kind of creepy. But let him finish what he's saying. He's saying that sit here for 30 seconds. And he said, look at me. Then there's the last part. So let's just one more time in case y'all can help me understand it because I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Look at me. Now look at you while you're looking at me. While you're looking at me.
Damn, he just did it.
Woo. That was the one. That's where your mind was blown, huh? Talking about.
I'm trying to. It's not easy, though.
You're right. That's where you will find the meaning of life. That's where you'll find it. So whatever that was, when you can make peace with that, that's the meaning of life.
Damn. What does...
Hold on. So when you make peace with yourself, so the meaning of life is to make peace with yourself. Is what he's saying. Huh. Okay. That's interesting. You guys agree in the chat that the purpose of life or the meaning of life is to not be embarrassed of yourself and impart yourself on others, and I guess in a positive way? I don't know. I just really, like I said, I'm trying to understand the point because I think it's trying to say some prolific shit. And apparently it blew this guy's mind. He was like, that was it right there. Oh my God. So I don't know if that's true or not, but you guys in the chat, is that like, how do y'all feel? I want to know. Do you feel like understanding your perception through others' eyes is the meaning of life? Like, how are you viewed through others' eyes? I don't know. It seems cool. It's a cool little conversation. Maybe we'll have a convo about it later. But it's an interesting take on life. But Will Smith is, I'm just going to say this. We respect Will. We do. You know, he smacked the shit out of Chris Rock. That was uncalled for. But Chris Rock kept his wife's name in his mouth. And he said, keep my wife's name out your motherfucking mouth. And it became an iconic moment that to some degree people have sort of forgotten about. But that was definitely a crash out. That was like the number one crash out, celebrity crash out I've seen in quite some time. He crashed out. He went and smacked the shit out of Chris Rock. So we've been kind of still recovering from the smack, Will. So you got to be careful when you start throwing these random things out here. But I have seen him trying. He's still doing music. And you know what? That's what we want Will Smith to do. We don't want him to be out there smacking Chris Rock and doing all this other stuff. We want him to go and do movies. We want him to do his little, corny rap songs and be Will Smith, the Fresh Prince, And at this point, he's like 60 years old, so he's not the Fresh Prince anymore. But you get my point. My point is he has a lane. And as long as he stays in that lane, people are going to love him. So even this thing, which was weird, I don't think it was detrimental. I think telling a person that they need to be able to see what they look like through other people's eyes and they improve on that, it goes along the lines of caring about what people think about you. And, everybody saying, man, I don't give a damn what people think about me. You know what? That's partially true. But there are some situations where you're going to need to care what people think about you. Like when you encounter the police. You should care what they think, especially at that moment. If they think you just murdered somebody, you should care that they think that. See what I'm saying? So you should care about what other people think about you in a general sense. Now, if you let that overtake you and you're constantly looking for validation from other people, that's where it gets a little toxic and it kind of messes up your trajectory of life. But Will Smith, other than the craziness, he's been married to this crazy woman for years. His kids are a little off, but they're not necessarily as off as regular people's kids. So I think Will's just making his rounds, enjoying his life, kind of looking to see where he'll fit in. I think maybe he should do something, not like a Fresh Prince reboot, but something like that. I think he should remind us of what we all came to love about him initially, and then kind of ride out into the sunset on that. That's just my opinion. I don't hate Will Smith. I don't think that he's the worst person in the world. I didn't think he should have smacked the shit out of Chris Rock, though. And if you were going to smack the shit out of Chris Rock, I don't see why Chris Rock didn't smack the shit out of him back. I figure if we're going to be unhinged here, we might as well take all the hinges off. But to some degree, Chris Rock maintained professionalism, but on the streets, they were saying you was being a bitch. So it didn't bode well. Then, of course, he had a comedy special after it where he talked plenty of trash about it, but it's like, you wasn't saying all that night. The streets know. The streets talk. So anyway. Next! All right. Shouts to Jay Coleman stopping into the chat as well. And for our most recent subscriber, Hope JNR, whoever that is, Hope JNR, thank you for stopping in as well. Make sure you hit the like button when you step into the room. Pay some respect. All right. So, Jay Coleman, you came in at a good time of the show because now we're about to dive off the cliff, as I call it. I'll bring them in with the soft stuff. Bring them in with the soft stuff, and then we kind of dive off the cliff. So we're at the cliff diving point, okay? Because I don't even know how to properly segue in. But here at the Purge of the BS, we view a lot of BS. It comes from all these different areas, but I have maintained one thing through the entirety of this show, and that is the point and concept that we have a parenting problem, at least in the United States. I haven't traveled abroad to the point where I would know anything about any other countries. But I know here in the U.S., the biggest issue we have is not black people, it's not white people, it's not Republicans, it's not Democrats, it's none of that. It's parenting. Screwed up adults were children at some point And a lot of them were not parented right. Now, granted, you get the exception. I don't want to hear about the damn exception, because if you live here, you know what I'm talking about. Okay? I don't want to hear, I know somebody who had 2 parents in the house, and then they did. All right, that's the exception to the rule. Some of those people are clout chasing anyway. They're living a cushy life, and they want to be known by the streets, so they go do some dumb shit for that clout. Parenting problem. But there's been a new wave. I'm all for it. There's been a new wave of advocacy for fathers being in their children's lives. Now, me being a father, now a grandfather, but still a father, of course. I didn't get to turn in fatherhood for grandfatherhood. That was like the extra checker on top. You king me on that one. But I've been through my own stuff. I can't get but so personal on this at this point, but maybe I'll do some content about it if it's helpful in family court or pro se. I do have some good info that would help. But there's been this new attack, well, not new attack, but new movement that's caused an attack. And it's a movement of like women who are advocates for men. It's a weird thing for me, you know, and some of them ain't real. I'm going to be honest with you. Some of them fake. But the good messages are going to be good messages regardless, even if you find out they come from a fake person. That's the thing that'll happen, is you'll get a good message and you find out it came from like a fake person later, but when you heard the message initially, you're like, all right, that's cool. So apparently, bring this joint. Let's bring this over here. Because I like I said, we're going to take a dive here, and I needed to prepare you guys for it because we're getting into parenting, which is not so much the entertainment side of the show. This is the education side of the show. And I think everybody needs to be aware that the problem is rooted in bad parenting. If we had better people parenting and better parenting from people, I guarantee a lot of the problems that we have in society would not exist. Racism is taught, if you didn't know. No baby is born racist. No baby comes out, if the doctor's black, they're like, I don't want that nigga to touch me. So all of these methods of negative thinking are inherited. And they're not just coming out of the damn sky. They come from your parents. They come from your parents, good or bad. Some of the stuff will be bad. Some of the stuff will be good. But it comes directly from parents. But what I want to talk about is this thing that happens when the parents separate, whether they were married or they just were together or it was a one-night stand or whatever the hell the situation. The parents separate and the kids, especially young kids, become this tug of war of bullshit. And then the kid has to grow up in that BS, have adverse feelings towards one or both parents, and then we expect that kid to now go out into the world and be a good parent to somebody else. How is that even possible? If you're not parenting them correctly, how are they supposed to parent somebody else correctly? They won't have a reference point. And every time these kids do something stupid, I'm talking about the juveniles, all of a sudden, everybody's like, oh, he was a good boy and blase, blase, blah. But no. In some cases, yes, there's the exception. But in a lot of these cases, it's just bad parenting, man. It's bad parenting. And it's some toxic shit that starts with the ending of a relationship. Like, y'all were good enough to lay down together and do the thing. Have a baby. All of a sudden, you don't have a relationship. Now you have to be arch enemies. That shit makes no sense to me. And I'm not going to say I've never seen a situation that's not that, but I've seen way more situations where now somebody you spent like a decade, 2 decades with. Why we got to be enemies, though? I don't have to like you. There's plenty of people in the world I don't like that I'm not enemies with. You see what I'm saying? Like, why do we have to be adversarial in this situation? So there's some ladies out here that have really been pushing this message, and there's an organization called PAPA that I wanted to give shouts to. That's People Against Parental Alienation. If you don't know what parental alienation is, we are going to have a quick discussion because I think it needs to be had. We've had our fun. We've poked our fun at some people. But to some degree, we have to address the real problem. The real problem is a parenting issue, co-parenting issue, single parenting issues. There's a lot of parenting issues. But we'll start with parental alienation, which has been now added to the DMCM, whatever that medical thing is, as child abuse. Preventing connectivity and visitation with another parent, now considered child abuse. No reply, thank you for stopping in the chat as well. No reply, put in a comment. I don't have any of my own kids, but I do have a brother and an ex-sister-in-law that's a deadbeat. Okay, so my 15-year-old niece has been living with me for years now. I pay for everything. Wow. And see, here's the thing. No reply is going to do a lot of work to try to make sure that niece is in the right position. But somewhere embedded is the memory of the bullshit that she had to go through in the first place, which is her parents' fault. See what I'm saying? It goes right back. That's a parenting problem. Unfortunately, no reply is going to be the one they blame for everything because that's who's around at this point. So hopefully everything turns out well, and I'm sure it will. But I'm just saying, in the world, that's what'll happen. These kids end up with all types of trauma, get dropped off at their grandmother's house, and their parents never look back. Or they're just at home by themselves all the time, nothing to do, barely eating. Whatever the situation is, there's a lot of bad parenting going. But I want to start with, when you have the ability to have two parents in a child's life who are not together, when you're stopping that and you're creating a problem with that and you're just starting shit for the sake of starting shit, that is probably the most destructive mental abuse that you can get. You're better off giving the child to somebody else. If you can't handle co-parenting with somebody, you're better off, you know what, I'm going to get in trouble for that. Oh, I am. So let's get this clip going here. Hold on. Appreciate you, no reply, for what you do. You ain't out here contributing to the bullshit. This is the phrasing. If you're not purging the bullshit, then you are part of the bullshit. So if you're not constantly seeking out, addressing and discarding and removing the bullshit from your life and the lives of the people around you to the best of your ability, because you can't save everybody. That is our real goal. Because a lot of this stuff, like I said, babies are not born racist. So how do they become racist? It's the people that's already here feeding them bullshit. So we have to address the parenting situation. But here's the alienation thing. Shouts to Papa Support and Papa Supply over on Instagram. If you want to go check them out, make sure you support them over there. They're actually in the UK, I think. But apparently this problem goes everywhere.
Because unfortunately, that's where you see most of it come from.
For the women who withhold their children from the fathers who want to be there.
There is a very special place in hell for you.
But majority of the time, and I said this before, is men typically don't give up on children. They do give up on co-parenting.
Unless there is abuse or neglect involved, there are no reasons why a child should be kept from an obviously loving, capable, and competent father.
When there's some mothers who make even seeing the child a headache and really, really drive that man away, he ends up giving up on the children. And children are just collateral damage from the mum being too difficult.
There are plenty of men who are begging, almost pleading with the court system, with them, to see their children. And you're withholding a child from their father because of your feelings.
A child deserves full access to both parents at any given time, regardless of your feelings about the other person.
I'll have single mums in my comments being like, my ex was a narcissist, he was so abusive. They're so zoomed into their perspective and their experience. They can't zoom out and think, yeah, my ex was terrible, but my child is still going to suffer.
Why would you keep them away from the person that's supposed to protect them, provide for them, and teach them about the world and struggle?
He is a masculine figure. They can't think like that. They're so holding on to their trigger.
Your child, their feelings, their needs, their wants should always come first.
That is true. So nonetheless, oh yeah, I'm gonna give them the applause for that when they get it. They get it. So we're gonna talk about really quickly what these ladies just mentioned. That was the root. The root of parental alienation is basically a pride thing. I'm upset that I'm not with you. And because that disconnect is there, I don't have the ability to affect you directly because we don't live together anymore. We don't talk like that anymore. We don't see each other. We're not even in the same circles anymore. So the only way to affect you is through this child. And unfortunately, way too many people take that route. And it's like, you're lucky if you have somebody who wants to be involved in their kid's life. Maybe you don't like them that much. Maybe they're not the, best person in the world, but are they going to sell the kid to a drug dealer? You see what I'm saying? Like, is that what you're worried about? Because if that's your fear, then you got a whole different issue with who the hell you've been choosing to mate with. But in most cases, that's not the case. Most cases, it's just, I don't like you. I don't like your new person you're with. So I don't want the kid around that person. So now you can't see your kid because you've moved on. Absolutely diabolical. And then the kid still wants to see their parent because up until the point when you separate, the child only knows a world that exists with the two parents. Remember, the baby comes in and is fed information onto a blank canvas. So as far as the child knows, the way it's supposed to be is the two of y'all together. So immediately thereafter, this child is searching for answers. Like, well, how did I get here if these people hate each other so much? And why does this person hate this person so much? And they start looking for clues and answers that really they're never going to get because half of it's embedded in some emotional bullshit that's been packed in there for years that probably doesn't even have to do just with the relationship that they're having the problem with. But the child is the one who ends up suffering. So if that's how you're parenting and you're not parenting well, what happens if your child happens to have a child with somebody either out of wedlock or they're married to them and they get divorced? They're not going to know how to co-parent either because you didn't co-parent well. They have no reference point. The same way I said the thing about racism. If we never give them a reference point, they don't have anything to reference. So in this situation with children, if you are the toxic parent, your kid is probably going to end up being a toxic parent. You see what I'm saying? But if you don't even identify that the toxicity is happening within you, then what happens is you're blaming this other parent who really just wants to be able to call their freaking kid or whatever, like some simple shit, some reasonable shit. See them at school or like just reasonable, regular parenting stuff. And you can't even accept that because at the end of the day, you're so dead set on being toxic that if it seems untoxic, you think that's wrong. And you end up screwing the kid's mind up. So I know a lot of people want to say, well, it's just women doing this. And just, I personally haven't seen a dude do it. I'm sure guys do. I've never really seen that situation where there's a gentleman who has the kids and the mother who is like a, normal adult is trying to see the kids and he don't want the mother to see the kids. Now, if there's been some nefarious shit that happened, like the kids were sexually abused by the other parent or, something along those lines. Like I said, if you're worried that when you give your child up for a visitation, that the person you're giving the child to is going to sell the baby for crack or something like that, then you got a point in not wanting to send your kid over there. But if it's just because I don't like you, I don't like that new bitch you got, that is dumb. You know why? Because the child deserves all the love that all these people can possibly kick out. The new people, the existing parents, everybody. And you want the child to be cut off from that because you not getting it. Lonely as hell. That's why people do it, man. Why they do it. So anyway, let me move to the second clip because this is where we at right now. So for those of y'all that haven't been through this kind of stuff, God bless you. Because a lot of people, myself included, have to go through the dumbest, goofiest stuff just trying to remain in the child that you created's life. And the reasoning is really just about somebody mad. I mean, I don't know any other way to say it. Like, even when you put it all on paper and you put it all in front of other people, and they're like, well, why are you doing all that? And at the end of the day, it comes back to, well, because they're pissed off. And this is your only recourse. So screw your kid, screw what happens to the kid. This is your only recourse, is to use this kid for this nefarious intent. But I think where the problem happens is children get caught in the middle of it, and eventually they start hating the parents, both of them. They'll start with one, then they end up hating the other one. Then they're like, you know what? I don't like either one of y'all because y'all don't know how to freaking work together. So, what's the second one? It says something about child support. Uh-oh. Let's see where we go with this one. Hold on, guys. With this. Oh, this is a Facebook joint. Okay, what we got? All right, so this lady. Oh, okay. So this is the like I said, the Papa support folks. And apparently their MO is to get pretty white ladies to say stuff because that's a good selling point. This is awesome. Very digestible content, Papa people. You get a pretty white woman to be an advocate for fathers, and that is awesome because that's who you want to be the advocate for fathering is the mothers. That'll make the whole thing easier. So this lady's going to say her little piece. And it's funny because she's talking about child support. And apparently she's saying it blows her mind that she finds this out, that the child support system is basically a rigged state system. And it's not designed to provide a better life for the child. That's not really what it was designed for. So let's see what she got to say.
I'm about to blow your minds with this one, being a woman speaking out about this.
Yeah, you are.
But the court systems are designed to favor the woman and the men pay the price. Mm-hmm. Did you know that 85% of child custody cases are awarded primary custody to the women? We live in a society where the legal doctrine is based off of old, outdated information and the notion that, oh, women are the most crucial for those tender years. And
well, hold on. I don't disagree with that. I agree that women are definitely needed in the tender years. Like, first of all, what if they're breastfeeding? That's 100% need a woman to do that. So we don't have to diminish one set of values to exalt or recognize another. I think that's where the problem is for me. It's like when you say men or women have this or that going, everybody always has to assume that by acknowledging this thing, you have to diminish something else. When in all truth, it's just about accountability, and the truth doesn't need to be sought after. It'll show up. And the truth is, this lady is 100% right. Yes. A lot of the cases do go to mothers having primary custody, and you would believe that it's because of the necessity of the mother's nurturing in the early years of the child's life. But if that's the case, then there should be a clause in there that says, if you are a young man and you turn 13 or whatever age we come up with, if your father is available and willing and is a fit parent, not a homeless guy smoking crack on the street, you go to your daddy, young man. Now, I would venture to say that would have positive outcomes because most fathers are better disciplinarians in a general sense. And it's only because their goal should have never been to be their child's friend. A lot of times, because you're very close to the child as a mother, you become friendly. That's normally who's the friend of the kid is the mom. Then the dad is, about business if he's following traditional gender role, okay? Which is all I've seen in my life. It's either this is what they're doing or this is what they're not doing. But this is what I would call the preferred outcome. Father is a disciplinarian, and he operates within discipline. He walks within discipline, even if the mother and father aren't together. But the dad's a hardworking guy. You need that in the life of a young man because he's going to have to go be a provider for someone else if life goes the way that we expect it to. He's going to have kids, he's going to be married, and he's going to have some woman expecting him to pay for things. And he's going to have some kids that he's going to have to pay for. So men should be raised in that regard. to know you are going to be a utility at some point in your life for someone. And we need to make sure you are the most efficient utility that you could possibly be, because if you're not, you're going to possibly put bullshit out into the world, and that reflects on me as a parent. So young men should definitely have a dedicated point in time. If they're not in the same house with the mother, they should have a dedicated time that if this is what we're going to do, we should split it up even then. Let's keep it real then. I'll tell you what, at that point, you tell the mother, don't even pay the dad child support. Just give him the kid. Give him the kid, because he was already paying child support to her. So if all of a sudden he doesn't have to pay that, then that's the offset. He doesn't even need you to pay nothing. But guess what would happen with that? The court system wouldn't get nothing, and that's why they don't do that. So I'm going to let this lady finish.
I did not know this, but you can go look it up. States are awarded funding based off how much child support that they get awarded. Mm-hmm. So it incentivizes giving custody, sole custody to one parent, so the other parent has to pay. Did you know that? And a feminist woman will claim that they want equality, but they will demand privilege. They claim they want traditional roles until it comes to custody and child support. The hypocrisy. And when you're pushing a good father out of the picture, you're not just hurting the father, you're hurting that child or children emotionally, physically, spiritually. And don't forget, ladies, you might have carried that baby, but that father carries the blueprint.
Drop the mic on it. This is a great marketing. Shouts to the Papa folks, man. This is how you get it done. You get a couple of beautiful women to advocate, say some things, make some digestible content. I'm all right with that. I like what they're doing over there. So shouts to the people against parental alienation and their group over there. And I really think we need to have this conversation. Everybody's saying the same thing. So we know the child support system is rigged because the state gets money. For those that don't know, who've never been involved in it, let me tell you how this works, okay? Normally, in a relationship, this is why I got to say normal, because there's always somebody that's going to bring me the damn extreme as if it debunks the argument. It doesn't. It just says, okay, that's that situation. But normally, in the court, the male or the father is normally the financial breadwinner. Normally, okay? Because of that, it would be, in layman's terms, it would seem that the person with the most money would be the most capable of taking care of the kid. Like, if I don't need your money to take care of the kid, then why should you be the one that they consider the best option for the kid? That sounds backwards to me. Unless I say, no, I don't want to take care of this child. I want the kid to be over there, and I'll just pay this money. But if you're going to be real about it, 9 times out of 10, the gentleman is the breadwinner. So if that's the case, then why the hell don't they give the kid to the dad 9 times out of 10, right? Because then they wouldn't need the mother's money. And that money that's they call child support has to come through court system. It gets ordered. They have people whose jobs it is to make sure you're paying your child support. So you're actually employing people by being on child support. But at the end of the day, they don't really care what happens to the money. Like, they're not doing the stuff with, like they're doing with the food stamps, where they're about to make it so you can only buy certain things that have to do with, health and food. Why not put child support on a card that you can't cash out? Because all the things you would need for a child in general, whether it's registration for a program or whatever, clothes, you pick it. In 2025, you don't need cash to do any of that shit. You just need a good digital card, a Visa, or one of the majors, right? And then you can do everything that way. And they could easily say you can and cannot buy this, or you can and cannot buy that. They don't want to do that. You know why? Because it keeps the consumer consuming. So whoever's getting that money, they're using it to put it back into society, so to speak. A lot of them aren't spending all of it on the kid, or they justify it with, I have a $500 car, $500 a month car, and I got to pay for that, so I'm going to use the child support to pay for that. And, get the kid minimal clothes and stuff with their own money, which It's also fine. But the point I'm trying to make is stop acting like the child support system is designed to assist the better parent in parenting. The child support system is designed to assist the parent that was lacking. So why did they automatically get the kid? So technically, the number should be totally flipped if that's what's happening. Unless you're dealing with a very small child who is, still suckling on the breast. But if we're going to be real, why should a person be given to somebody that can't afford to take care of them? Huh? Answer that for me. And then I'll tell you about the child support system. So you're not going to tell me it's about supporting children. We all know when we watch the Maury show or the Steve Wilkos show or any of those trashy ass shows that have DNA tests, the first thing a lot of the women say the second they find out somebody's the father is they start screaming, "Give me my money, my child support." Now, granted, the accent I just used denoted a particular demographic, but they're not the only ones to do that. I'm just saying that's what we hear, right? So we all know what this game is. So if we're going to play this game, can we at least parent the children correctly? You see what I'm saying? If we're going to do all this, we're going to let the court get a piece of us. If we're going to let our children be wards of the state, which is what happens, that's why the state can make a decision that neither one of y'all parents get the kid. Because you went into court and basically gave them control of your child. And then we come out of court and somebody still think they got control. So that's why fathers got to keep going back to court, and some mothers, but mostly fathers have to keep going back to court over and over again about minimal visitation, minimal access. I can't talk to my kid on the phone because she won't let the person talk to, me talk to the person on the phone, or I can't do this because she's not letting me do it. Not even the court saying you can't do it. Like the other parent preventing you from parenting. Diabolical, man. Absolutely diabolical. And then that person who's fighting you to parent is paying you to keep them out of their child's life. Please make that make sense. You know how that feels to a person? You're paying to have a person keep you out of the person's life that you're paying for. That's what you're paying for. And you're paying that person. You're not giving it to the kid. You're sending it directly to the person who is claimed to be your adversary, who's feeding your child bullshit every day about you that you don't even hear. Then you come to visit the kid, they're crying. You're like, what are you crying for? You're going to hurt me. What are you talking about? Because somebody has put the bullshit in their head. They're a blank canvas when they get here. If us parents work together better and actually thought about the future of these children, we wouldn't have so much bullshit out here, man. These kids that are late teens, early 20s, all these shootings and stuff, they come from the product of bad parenting. 90% of them. Like I said, there's always an exception to the rule, but I'm not here for that. Okay? I'm here to talk about the greater problem, which is a parenting problem. Deadbeat dads exist, but so do deadbeat moms. And you know what? Both of them can kiss my ass. But there are some people out here that are literally just fighting each other because they're not together. Child support paid up, showing up for visitations, scheduled visitations. Can't get your kid. Try to call the school don't want to talk to you because somebody told the school not to talk to you. That's your kid. How does the school have more right to your child than you do? Anyway, see, I'm getting riled up, but it's because I'm sick of this shit, man. And then we wonder why society's so screwed up. It starts with how we parenting these kids. You try ripping a kid between two parents for no reason. Have a child thinking that bad is good and good is bad. Like, if they love their parent, right? And you come through and start feeding them a bunch of stuff about this parent wants to abduct you and kidnap you and lock you in the basement, and that stuff starts to stick, then the kid starts thinking that bad is good and good is bad. So now they're twisted in their thinking. And that's your fault. Your kid. Anyway, sorry, no reply. I know y'all been in the chat getting in. I'm glad y'all are having a good conversation down there because I had to get this off of my chest. Because I followed the Papa support people on Facebook, and you know how the Facebook algorithm is. As soon as they see you follow something, or they just freaking turn on the fire hose on your ass. And that seems to be all you get. So to a degree, I'm not going to beat a dead horse with this lady, but she's a pretty lady, so I left her on the screen so that anybody coming in would be like, oh, what's he talking about? You know, yeah, suckers, gotcha. She did have a really good message of what she was saying. I do appreciate it. So let's get into the thicker. The thicker. Hey, no reply. I want to give a special shout. You put a comment in there saying that, you know, a lot of bad things and good things have happened in life, and your only goal now is to get old. I feel that. I feel it. And you know why I feel that? Let me tell you why I feel that. Because right now, what I'm doing right now, right? I'm on the internet right now, and I'm on a forum that's probably not going to go anywhere for years and years and years. Meaning, this content will be available unless I come into the, you know, to the back end, pause, and delete it. Meaning my grandbabies, who are all less than 5 years old right now, when they're 15, will be able to see this stream of their grandfather talking his shit. And if nothing else, they'll be able to hear me say that we should be working together. They'll be able to hear me say that there's positive things and ways of parenting. The point I'm trying to make is I'm not here to put out no bullshit. So if I leave it behind and my grandbabies see it, they'll be like, yeah, my grandfather was an advocate for family. My grandfather liked, you know, good things. He wasn't out here trying to be no idiot and messing up women's lives and children's lives. No, this guy was a good guy, even if they never heard it in real life. You pass on what you want to pass on. So when your kids are all screwed up, don't look too far. Go in that bathroom, take a quick look in that mirror, and say, where did I steer that incorrectly? Because it was you. I know it's harsh. It's harsh, but if your kid turns into a school shooter, I blame you. And I have no qualms about saying that. If your child walks into a school, starts taking lives with an arsenal of weapons that you probably bought for them, I blame you. And you should be prosecuted for being a dumbass. You should be. And they're working on that, by the way. There are some new laws coming out that are going to start prosecuting these parents for having these wild-ass kids. It used to be you would just get in trouble if your kid wasn't in school. Now it's going to be, if your kid takes their life in the commission of a crime, you got to go do their time. That's what they're about to do. Watch out for it. Watch out for it. So, that's it. We understand what's going on out here. Dysfunctional, broken families are good for business when it comes to prisons, when it comes to therapy, when it comes to attorneys, when it comes to police, when it comes to judges and the stenographers and the clerks. And they have a whole section for family in the courthouse. It's just that. They got all types of things that go on in the circuit court, but they got one group just for family law. That means there is so much family law shit coming through there that they needed to box it off into the corner. It's part of us now. It's part of our society now that we just deal with angry ass, bitter ass parents, and nobody says, you know what? You should go to jail for being a dumbass. Go sit for a weekend. Just a weekend. Just a weekend to clear your thoughts. Go sit on that slab for a weekend and think about the goofiness. Think about why you were beefing at a pickup about the fact that your significant other went on a trip at some point, like not with you and y'all not together. Who cares? Let that person pick their kid up and shut up. And then figure out how you can do more to make the child's life better. Your life is over. You might be stuck single for the rest of your life. That's not the kid's fault, and that's all I got to say about that. So sick of that shit. We just let it go. We let it keep happening because it's good for TV to see these ridiculous situations where somebody gets told they're not going to get $1 million in child support And then they're all upset and they're like, I don't know how I'm supposed to take care of my kid. Stop living $1 million lifestyle in. And if you can't handle it, give the kid to the parent that's paying. Shit don't make no sense, but I don't hear nobody advocating for that. It doesn't make any sense to constantly give the kid to the person that's more broke. Do you understand my point? Unless the other person has done some nefarious shit and they don't have a choice but to do that. But in a general sense, it doesn't make sense to me to give the kid to the person that's more broke. Instead of saying, hey, you were already paying for the whole household with all of y'all in it, so we might as well let you keep the kid. Anyway, I know I'm getting in trouble right now. I know I'm getting in trouble, Sebastian. They don't want this conversation on the internet. They want me to just talk shit about women. If I came in here and I just did that, oh, this would be a whole different thing. They'd be pushing it out, impressions, all that. No, toxic parents, because they're on both sides. The grand majority we know happens to be women, but that's only because they keep giving the kids to the more broke person, and that's why that keeps happening, is because the gentlemen, most of them, were breadwinners. So by being the breadwinner, you get the shit into the stick at the end when it comes to your kids and taking care of your kids, when it's like I've been taking care of everybody this whole time. Now I got to fund a lifestyle because I'm good? Nah, man. They look at child support like it's freaking alimony. It's not for you. So, yeah, when they come with that law, I told you they're working on it right now about addressing the child support being on a digital card that you cannot cash out, meaning you can't go to an ATM and pull cash. All transactions will be tracked. They will know what the hell you're doing. They will know if you're going to the liquor store and buying Johnny Walker Fifths with your child support card. And they will probably start admonishing people for it. We'll see. We'll see what they do about it. But let's keep it going. We only got 2 more left here. Oh, here we go. Oh, this is it. All right. So, like I said, somebody sent me a bunch of these clips from this Papa group. And I was like, you know what? I like what they're doing over there. I like the method. You get some pretty white women to be advocates for men. People are going to listen. If not do anything, they'll at least watch. Like I said, it's very digestible content. So they did another one. We're going to do this last one. Then we're going to move to this Jay Washington bullshit. And then we're going to get up out of here, okay? I know that's what y'all came for, was to hear the debauchery with that. But we're already on that street. It's just the cul-de-sac ends with that. But we are definitely on that street right now. Check this one out.
I'm a mother who uses parental alienation.
What's that mean?
My relationship with your father is over. And now I want the relationship with you and him to be over too.
But he's my dad.
I know, but I can't stand him. And I'm unconsciously using you to hurt him. This is why I make his visitation so difficult, why I talk negatively about him any chance I get, and why I don't really care that he wants to see you. His feelings are completely irrelevant to me. Honestly, I don't even think of him as your father anymore.
Well, I do.
Don't you love time with mommy? We do everything you want to do. And your father's house isn't fun anyway, unless you don't love me and you want to go live at his house.
Okay, here's what I'm learning. I have to pick a side. There's no understanding for how any of this impacts me. Just to focus on the issues you two have with each other. It's extremely toxic because I have to consistently listen to a smear campaign about my parent from my parent. I miss time with my dad. I miss playing outside, camping, or just watching things together with him, but I'm too afraid to say that because it feels like I'm betraying you in some way. So I keep my feelings in. And while I'm missing him, I've heard so many things about him that I don't even know what's true or not anymore. I'm being gaslit, so I'm learning to not trust myself. In 20 years, I'm going to learn that I was lied to, or that a lot of stories were exaggerated. And I'm going to have so much anger and resentment towards you, but because I was never allowed to express myself here or how I feel, I'm going to direct that anger and that resentment towards myself. I'll engage in all types of self-harm.
I'm a mother who...
All right, well, that was a pretty cool skit. But the one thing I wanted you to take from it was the last piece where the lady acting like the baby says, in 20 years, I'm going to have so much built up trauma that all I'm going to do is be angry with myself and start self-harming. So what's happening during that time? 20 years, you're 20-something years old. You are realizing that earlier portion of your life was a lie, and you're going through all that. And guess what happens? Boop, now you done got somebody pregnant, or you become pregnant. Now you're about to be a parent, and you haven't even worked out the bullshit with your own parents and what was going on there. So if you're not prepared to be a parent, won't be able to parent. Now, granted, there's no book on this shit. I've had to raise a number of children. Every last one of them was different, even if they had the same DNA or the same parent DNA, to say it that way. Of course, it's not the same exact DNA, but you know what I'm saying. Every last one of them was different. The only similarities were the fact that they lived in the same house. They didn't like the same foods. They didn't like the same clothes. They didn't like the same shows. They were all different. So you have to take an individualized approach with your kids anyway. You got to remember, they come out as a blank canvas. The picture that gets painted, the first brush is yours. The first brush stroke on the canvas that's called your children comes directly from you as a parent. So if they turn out to be overly entitled, overly spoiled, overly evil, don't know how to share stuff, whatever the situation is, just boop, point it right back. That's your shit that you dumped on your kid, and now they got to live their life with some bullshit that you taught them. And now they're going to go out in the world and be on some goofiness. There's a recent story, and I'm just going to sidebar with this one, where a lady had 3 sons, right? And they went to somebody's house. I was watching this on Take Heed's podcast this morning, talking about it. Shouts to Take Heed message. Love that podcast. Very raw, straightforward. If you ever get a chance to check her out. I don't know what day she's on, but it's kind of like you're sitting there talking to a family member, like your sister or your aunt, you know? So that's why I like that show. But nonetheless, she was talking about this situation where 3 kids, young youths, broke into somebody's house to rob them. And the homeowner ended up shooting and unaliving all 3 of them. So the mother the mother of the 3 kids is all upset at the homeowner. And I'm like, what? Lady, if your 3 kids go into somebody's house and get unalived, yeah, you can feel how you want to feel, but that's your fault. That is your fault. And if you're not willing to take accountability for it, karma took accountability with you or for you, and that's why you don't even get to have your sons anymore, because you weren't doing the right thing. If all 3 of your kids, not one of them said, yo, I'm going to stay behind, I'm not with that shit. All of them. And you lost all of them in one act. Not saying they deserve to go. What I'm saying is they were a product of poor parenting. And I'm tired of people just letting that shit go. Oh, they shouldn't have done this, this, and that. Oh, they didn't have to kill him. They didn't have to kill him. They didn't have to kill him. But you didn't have to kill him by giving them a screwed up way of thinking and then pushing them out into the world so the rest of us got to deal with that bullshit. And it starts young, man. It doesn't start at 13. I had a clip go viral on this channel. Actually, it wasn't on YouTube. They didn't want it. But it was a kid who couldn't have been no more than 3, had a Lego gun, reciting every word to a King Von song. And he was like 3. Like he was still in the car seat. Little kid. And everybody thought it was cute. It got 2 million views. I got 2 million views on that video. Everybody thought it was cute. But at the end of the day, I had to say, man, that's sad as shit. This kid barely knows how to write at this point. He's a baby. But he already knows every word to a King Von song. And if y'all don't know who King Von is, I ain't going to tell you too much, but he was one of them drill rappers who talked a lot, and he's not here anymore as a result of being in that profession. And y'all have heard that story 1,000 times. Hip-hop did not come to the world for us to just start killing each other behind it. I have only heard a few people say it. And I think y'all need to understand that the death and all that craziness that now Trump is using for a reason to bring the National Guard and all this shit in, it all started with bad parenting. And I don't think he can bring the National Guard into people's houses. So he's dealing with your kids on the street. He's dealing with your product that you put out, that BS that you put out. The rule in my family is don't put out no bullshit. And this is the parenting rule. I have grandchildren. That means when my children were having children and they came to me and said, Dad, what do you want to tell us about, what to look out for and being parents? I say, hey, number one rule, don't put out no bullshit. You are not giving birth to your friends. You are giving birth to possibly somebody's husband, somebody's wife, possibly a business owner. You don't know who's coming out of there. But what you ain't going to do is do something dumb and put some bullshit out. Not in my bloodline. It's not necessary. All the tools are available, and there's people in each generation before passing on the same kind of mantra. So what that says to me is these other groups that are not doing that are the reason why things are being done the way they are, is because you're not saying nothing. You're letting the kids do whatever the hell they want, and then when they get older and they can whoop your ass, you're definitely not going to test them. And then you send them out in the world to go break into somebody's house, and they get unalived by the homeowner, and you mad at the damn homeowner. See how backwards that is? I'm going to tell you what, I enjoyed being a kid myself. What is that? Okay, I don't know what that was about. Let me bring my life cam back over. They tried to get me. They tried to get me with an ad. So, I'm telling you right now, these kids out here, it's y'all shit, man. Stop sending them out here messed up and then being upset when they run into the wrong one or the right one, whatever you want to call it, and something happens to them. That's not taking accountability. Those are your kids. Got them breaking into somebody's house. I'm sorry, man. Sorry, man. Y'all in the chat talk about food and chili dogs. That's what's up, man. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. And they're talking about cannabis, which is not a hard narcotic. One of the slipperiest slopes, though, out there. Federal government doesn't want to reschedule it or reclassify it, but they don't really want to make it legal. But then the states want to make it legal, but then you're not even buying illegal stuff anymore. You're buying THC alpha, which was already legal back in 2018 with the U.S. Farm Bill. They've been getting over on you. So all these little states, you go to the states and they're like, oh, we just made marijuana legal. That's bullshit. It was already legal. What you buying, they could sell in the smoke shop. It's just THC alpha. If you don't believe me, look it up. And you'll find out that I'm not bringing you BS. I'm telling you the real. It's fine if you want to smoke it. I'm just saying, don't think that they have released some dark world underbelly stuff to you. No, the stuff was already technically legal. Anyway, but I'm glad for it because I don't think people should be going to jail for plants being in their car or anything like that, or in their house, or in their pocket, or any of that. It's a plant. It can grow naturally. You don't have to even spray nothing on it or nothing. And it will still have the same effects as any other cultivated item made from the same base, which is hemp. God gave us weed, guys, okay? So if people want to use it for pain and all that, they were using that stuff before they had all these drugs and pharmaceuticals and all this stuff that they'd labbing up for you. That's what they were using, natural herbs, natural remedies. And so they've tried to tell you that the natural remedies are going to kill you while they feed you full of shit that's actually going to kill you. Make that make sense. Anyway. No reply. Don't give them the secrets. I told them if they want to look it up, they can look it up. Don't put it in the chat. Don't. That's why they can sell it on the internet, if you didn't know. For those of you that how are they shipping weed on the internet? There's your answer right there. No reply. Just gave you the answer. Okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we should be. That's what we should be advocating. Give us the real stuff. If you're going to put it out there and people can still get arrested for the THC alpha, that's the problem. because the cops don't know the difference. They're looking at it, looks the same. So unless it has like a medical sticker or whatever on it, or it's got the packaging, it's still such a slippery slope. I just need them to get past that. That's it. Anyway, I got sidetracked. I'm sorry, guys. I got sidetracked. I apologize. Let me get to the main, since folks are here. Special shouts to Sebastian Palega with the super chat. Just saying, weed is safer than alcohol, okay? We're not promoting drugs on this channel. Make sure that the algorithm heard me say it. We are not promoting drugs on this channel, but if we're going to be real, if every alcoholic was a pothead, we'd have way less drunk drivers and way less drunk driving accidents. Now, granted, everybody on the highway would be doing like 35, but there would be way less accidents. It'd be way less people dying from liver failure and cirrhosis and all this other stuff. And in certain states, you can buy alcohol everywhere. Supermarkets, 7-Eleven, gas stations. You go wherever you go, you can buy that shit. You go to Burlington Coat Factory, they got some miniatures at the front. So they're feeding us that. And if they got more people on that, if they got more people off of that, that would be beneficial for everybody, right? No. There's way too many people's hands in that money. So they're not coming for that. That's why they keep telling you, plant bad, alcohol good. Oh, drink your alcohol. Every sporting event, they showing beer commercials. You ever go to a game, they got beer and wine and all this. They promote it. They promote it. But don't spark up a doobie outside the stadium. Now you got the damn SWAT team coming. Crazy. No reply, stop giving them the ingredients in the chat. I was just giving some surface stuff. You're going to get us in trouble, man. You can't put recipes in the chat. You're exposing the goofiness that they fed to the American people with this legalization thing. When really what they needed was reclassification. It was already sort of legal. That's all I was saying. But they're not going to tell us that. They're going to have people thinking, ooh, I'm going to the dispensary because they got all the good stuff. No, that's the thing. You can grow that shit in your house, man. With the right lights and a little bit of cultivation, you can grow that shit right in the house. Ain't nothing special. Nothing special about it. And it all smells like the same thing now. There was a time when different things smelled like the name, right? Like chocolate stuff smelled like chocolate. Anyway, I'm going to stop. Y'all going to get me in trouble over here because they keep saying we're promoting drugs over here by saying that maybe we shouldn't have as much alcohol in the world. Maybe it shouldn't be available at a gas station if you don't want people to drink and drive. It's at the gas station. Like, I could get a beer, take it in the bathroom, guzzle it while I'm doing a number 2, and come right out. At the gas station. I think that's stupid to put alcohol in gas. Whatever. They didn't ask me about it. So let me get to this last thing, guys, because I do have to get out of here. Or is this the same one? Which one did we just do? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, this is the one. All right, guys, you're here for it. You're ready for it. We're going to talk about it. Okay? So recently, P.J. Washington, may or may not know, basketball. He went to do what looks like a custody exchange with his, I want to say ex-baby mama, but you're not an ex-baby mama. She's a current baby mama, ex-girlfriend, okay? Brittany Renner. Now, before I dive into this thing all the way, I just want you to understand my perspective on it. If we are having custody and visitation issues with NBA players who obviously have the means to take care of a child and the child's going to be fed and so on and so forth, and you've got your influencer, Brittany Renner, I don't know what she is. Been married to Kevin Gates for a day. They were married for like 2 weeks. She was Muslim for a month. I don't know. She's all over the place. So to me, I don't think she's really the best example from the parenting side, but that's just my opinion. I think she's a little too flighty. Like, she's all over the place. You don't know what she wants, but she does know she wants to smoke. So P.J. Washington shows up, and I want to say this clip dropped, yesterday? So he shows up to get their son, and apparently she's mad about something. I'm gonna let you guys see the clip, and then we'll decipher it. But I'm just letting you know, this is the shit I don't like. This is what imparts things on the kids, and this is what creates the bullshit. Check this out.
Okay, hold on, pause. This is what we're not doing. So every time that he does this, I'm gonna record this. Because that's not okay. I'm just letting you know. No, the thing is, this is the third time he's done it. This is the third time he's done it. He doesn't want to go with you. So actually show up. Actually show up and do something then with him.
Well, he's picking him up. What do you mean show up and do something with him? What, like stay there with you? Maybe I missed it. I'll let it go.
Does this every time? No, it's not. No, it's not. It ain't because anybody babies him. You gonna give him his bag and stuff?
That's terrible. 3 weeks in a row.
Well, just be glad the man is coming to get his damn kid. Babies are finicky at times. Maybe he should show up with a lollipop or something. I don't know. But I've seen this one before. Not this clip, but this situation where you have a young child who is anxious about leaving their mother to go with their father. It doesn't mean that the father's done something. It's a damn baby. Mom's been feeding him treats and shit all week. He wants to go back to the treats. You can't even explain to him that he has a court-ordered visitation coming up. He doesn't understand that. So he's not understanding the back and forth. He's not getting any of this. Initially, y'all were together when this child was born. Maybe not for long, but long enough that somewhere in that child's memory is the two of them in some semi-happy state in a household with that child. So this kid is confused. Of course the kid's confused. Maybe you should just come and put the kid in the car if it's going to be all that. I'll let the baby might cry. He'll get over it after riding in this nice-ass Cadillac truck. That doesn't look comfortable. But I'm just saying, this is I've seen this before where the baby cries when one of the parents picks up the baby, right? And then the other parent's like, see, he don't want to go with you. So what? It's a kid. He's got a visitation. Time to go. That would be correct. Calm the child down and say, no, you got to go with your father. You know, calm down. You'll see me in 2 days or whatever the situation is. That's how you're supposed to do it. But instead, you feed the toxicity. You're recording the shit for what? So you can go to court and say the baby cried? So you can keep wasting time in court when really you're supposed to be taking time to raise this child? Sorry, I'm just backing it up a little bit. So we saw what started it. Baby starts crying right here. And she's like, we're not doing that. What do you mean we're not doing that? It's done. That's why he walks off. Because I've seen some people grab the child, start yanking the child while the other parent is holding the child. It can get violent. So I'm glad he did what he did and just walked away. That was the smartest thing you can do. Get
This
away.
is what we're not doing.
She got on an outfit that looked like she ready to fight. She looked like J-Lo in the, was that Enough? When J-Lo was waiting for her husband or whatever, ex-husband. Got the whole workout suit on, ready to fight. Sneakers, everything. And it's not because of him, because there's no way Brittany Renner could beat P.J. Washington in the fight. It's because P.J. Washington has his new wife in the car. And that, my friends, is the problem. She don't like the new wife. And the new wife is nice and humble and not all over the damn internet and not getting disrespected in the comments and all that kind of stuff. The new wife is like wifey material. That which Brittany Renner was sort of with Kevin Gates for like 2 weeks. But you don't even get alimony in that. I don't know why you even married a person. If you can't stay together with them for a month, then you weren't supposed to get married. Unless there was something that came out right after the marriage, like there was some side gay lover or something like that you didn't know about. Then maybe that. But other than that, no, you weren't even, y'all was just doing that for PR, just to stay relevant. Because Brittany Renner has no talent. Like, she's not a singer or a dancer or anything. She's just a personality. Well, right now, her personality looks like shit to me because she's immediately not doing what you're supposed to do in that situation. So I'm letting y'all know right now, if you are the person in this situation, if you're handing your child, small baby, over to someone that is their parent and the baby's wilding out, your first response is to calm the child down and assure the child that they're going to be fine going with their other parent. Not feed into it. He don't want to go with you. No. That's not what you do. Because then when you take the child back, the child thinks that that's the way to do things. Every time dad shows up or other parent. But in this case, it's the dad. So we're going to address it based on what we're looking at. But this could be a switch where the male is on one side and the woman's on the other side. Either way, if the kid starts wilding about the visitation, your first response and reply is to tell the child, you're going to be fine. I love you. Give him a kiss on the freaking forehead, whatever the hell you got to do. But not to be mad at him like he shouldn't see his child. You get my point. He didn't even once say, oh, calm down, sweetie. No, it's not. It's going to be fine. Nope. It was immediate. Nah, we're not doing that. So anyway.
So every time that he does this, I'm going to record this.
Like, all right.
That's not okay. I'm just letting you know. No, the thing is, this is the third time he's done it. This is the third time he's done it. He doesn't want to go with you.
And?
So actually show up and do something then with him. Because he does this every time. No, it's not. No, it's not. It ain't because anybody babies him. You gonna give him his bag and stuff?
Didn't even give the kid bag.
3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, no, it's not that at all. No, it's not. No, yeah, I will. But I'm telling you right now, every single time you come here and he cries, we're going to record that. And it's up with me. Just know that. It's up.
What'd you say?
I'd love to.
What'd you say?
I didn't stutter.
I didn't hear you say it again.
Suck my dick.
If you had one, maybe I would.
Well, first of all, you're not even Brittany Renner. Who are you? If you had one? Well, obviously the man has one, ma'am. That's how the child came to be. Your logic is flawed. So flawed. But you had to just, you had to be there. I don't know if that's her mom or just a friend that's recording. But of course that was the setup. They were like, as soon as he get here, you know how the baby be crying? I want you to record that. Okay, and I've been in court for situations like this before, and the judge will say, well, why didn't you calm the baby down and let the baby know everything was going to be fine? Why do you immediately go into, oh, he don't want to go with you, and this is where he's got to go. That's his dad. That's where he's going. So you train the child that that is what you do, that everything's going to be okay, that you're going with dad. I'm going to see you in 2 days or whatever the situation is. That's the angle you're supposed to take. Not get your little homegirl or whoever out here trying to make this man look crazy for picking his kid up. And he pays child support. So it's not even one of those where it's like, well, he don't even pay child support. He does pay. I think he paid handsomely, if I'm not mistaken. So let me finish this up.
No, it's not. No, yeah, I will. But I'm telling you right now, every single time you come here and he cries, we're going to record that. And it's up with me. Just know that. It's up.
What'd you say?
I'd love to.
What'd you say?
I didn't stutter.
I didn't hear you say it again.
Suck my dick.
If you had one, maybe I would.
Weird ass bitch.
Pussy ass
Hey,
bitch.
He said weird ass.
What the fuck you looking at?
That's on my way.
Get your bitch ass out my drive.
See, now here's my problem. So this is what you want to put in front of the kid. This isn't even the other parent. This is like some other person who was there. I'm not sure if this is Brittany Renner's mom or just a buddy, but this person is the antagonizer as well. Like, first of all, who are you to say to somebody else's baby daddy that you would suck him off if he had a penis? Like, I think you were going for a flex there, but you sound stupid. Your logic is flawed. Like I said, he wouldn't have a baby if he didn't have a penis. So saying that just means you're just being dumb. And maybe I don't want my son around a bunch of dumb, goofy-ass women that talk like this. And then she starts talking to apparently his wife who's in the passenger seat, which is smart. You see how he knew better? Don't bring the wife to the door to get the baby. We riding together because that's my wife. But no, I'm not going to have you come to the door with me and then these chicks try to jump you in the front of the house. And then if I try to break it up, now I'm going to jail for abusing women or something. No, stay your ass in the car. Don't touch nothing. Sit in the car. I'll be right back. Now, what he should have had was her recording too, but he'll probably figure that one out after this. So nonetheless, that lady needs to mind her own business. But I'm going to back it up one more time. So at this point, the child is in the car. He's walked away from her to put the child in the car, meaning there was no need for further argument. There was no need for her to come over there. But you know why she had to come over there? Because she kept the child's belongings. And she knew that that was something that the baby sort of needed. But being that I've been in this situation before, most fathers, especially if they got a couple dollars, which I'm sure he does, because if you look at that truck nice. I don't give a damn. If I had some money, boy, I'd give me one of those. But as a father, when the mother doesn't let the child bring stuff, then what you do is you just buy them new shit. Problem is, they get used to that. And I'm talking about the other parent gets used to that, and they purposely don't send the kid with nothing. So you got to buy them new clothes every time you see them. And then what do you have to do? You got to send them back with the new shit. Because in the case that I'm talking about, you got to drop the kid off at school, and whatever outfit they wore to school, they're not coming back to your house. So that ends up back over there. So every week, new outfits would end up transferring from one place to the next. So she knew by holding his belongings, or at least she thought for it initially, that by holding the belongings, that would have kept P.J. Washington in that doorway. He immediately walked away. And started to do what he came there to do, which is get his kid, put him in the car seat, because that's what he's doing here, keeping it safe. So where is the issue here other than, all right, the baby cried. What, the kid never cries when he's in the house with her? Ever? Bullshit. So we already know it was just a reason for, she was already feeding that energy. She was ready. That's why she had the outfit on, like she getting ready to fight. She knew that the wife was going to be there probably, so she was ready for that. She had her little buddy with the camera ready. The whole situation was a setup. She wanted him to snap off at her, is what she wanted, so that she could take that to court and say that he's abusive and shouldn't be able to see the child. Well, I got news for you. Even if that was to happen, if you can't prove that he abused the child specifically, it's not going to hold for very long. You'll get a temporary restraining order or whatever because you are primary custodial. But at the end of it, he's not going to lose visitation with the child. They'll just say, y'all two can't be around each other. So you end up having to do the exchanges at police stations and shit like that. But he can whoop her ass. I'm not saying that's what he should do. But I'm saying if he did that, if he didn't do that to the kid, he can still go back to court and he will still get visitation with that child. Even though she'll say she's worried that the child's in danger. And then the judge will say, well, show me the proof that physical abuse happened between him and the child. And then, of course, she won't be able to show that because it looks like the guy actually cares about his son. He showed up to pick him up. He's got the car seat in the back. He's ready to go, have some time with his kid. And he's got to immediately deal with the bullshit. And because the child is small, he doesn't have a choice. So, like I said, I'm not taking sides here, but I'm watching everybody's behavior. And up until she's in his face while he's at the car, he's already got the child in the car. She's still over there in his fucking face. So, yeah, he said something a little raunchy. But you know what? Brittany Renner is known for doing that. So maybe he was just saying, go do what you're good at. That's what I think he was. He was just, a vote of confidence for her to continue that which she's so great at, which is being a knob goblin. Okay?
Hey, it's up with me. Just know
Is
that.
it?
It's up.
Uh-huh.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
I didn't stutter.
I didn't hear you say it again.
Suck my dick.
If you had one, maybe I would.
First of all, did y'all hear it though? He said suck dick, and she said I would love to. That's just a dirty bitch. Just dirty. I don't want your little potty mouth around my son. How about that? I don't know what kind of stuff you saying and doing or sucking when you in the house by yourself. It's a nice house. So she's doing all right. But is that the response? I love to? Well, we know this, Brittany. We know you love to do that, but is that the response? Is that the flex? Then the other lady says, I would if you had one. Y'all suck at the dozens. Y'all suck at snapping. Let me just say that. You happen to have money and all this other stuff, but you don't have no proper sense of humor. You don't even know how to Joan correctly. And I know I brought a word back from like the late 80s, but you don't even know how to Joan correctly. You're making yourself look stupid. Anyway.
And it's up with me. Just know
yes,
that
it is.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
I didn't stutter.
I didn't hear you say it again.
Suck my dick.
If you had one, maybe I would.
Where that bitch?
Pussy ass
Hey, you
bitch.
wish I would,
Pussy ass. What the fuck you looking at?
That's on my way, bitch.
Get your bitch ass out my driveway, ho.
You don't pay for shit.
Fuck you. You don't pay for shit either. $170,000 to your hoe, but $11,000 in your son's bank account.
This is the friend?
$11,000 in your son's bank account, but $170 to that
You don't
bitch.
got shit in your
Get out
bank
your car.
account.
Get out.
See, this is what they wanted. This is what they wanted. This is what they wanted. I don't know what happens after the clip, but this is what they wanted. The wife was in the car. She was trying to keep it together, but let's keep it real, guys. Everybody is dressed for smoke today. Okay? She got a hoodie on. They got the workout outfits on. Smoke is available, and these people are dressed for the work. But the wife is chilling, not saying nothing. She's been in the car the whole time. Soon as he get in the car, what he shouldn't have done was rolled the window down. That's his fault. Don't roll the window down. Keep the window up. Back up out that driveway. This conversation is over. I got my kid now. So I have nothing else to say. We don't have to continue speaking at this point. I can just pull off. So that's where he screwed up. Is right there. He shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. Because the window's up in this shot. You know what I'm saying? The window's up in this shot. So that means he gets in the car and rolls the window down to talk shit. No. I know you wanted to. I know that's what you wanted to do. You had to get the kid in the car first, and then you were going to do your thing. But what I did notice is Brittany Renner stepped off. This is the friend. So the friend was summoned to come over here and fight the wife. That's why she's like, get out the car, bitch. No. Because that woman's smarter than you. That's why she stayed her ass in the car. She knew y'all wanted to smoke, and she ain't smoking today. And you tried to egg her in it, trying to make PJ Washington look bad. And instead, all you did was look like a toxic-ass parent on the internet. I'm sick of it. I'm not letting it go no more. Because this kind of shit happens every day. So you see what I'm saying here, right? He's got the window up. Then he closes the door and rolls the window down. That's his mistake. But I know it was tough for him to not do that. I get it. You wanted to say your last word. These women getting on your damn nerves. This lady who's filming talk about get out my driveway, and she don't even pay to live there. She's just there at Brittany Renner's house. You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Fuck you. You don't pay for shit either. $170,000 to your hoe, but $11,000 in your son's bank account. $11,000.
Right there. Why roll the window down? He could have just backed out. Brittany Renner's back over at the porch talking about bye. Okay, bye. Motherfucker, bye. I'm out. But I'm only saying, there's responsibility on all sides. Once you got the baby in the car, get the hell out of there, okay? If you're still trying to get the child, then yes, you have to entertain the bullshit for a little bit. But at this point, you got the child, you got the bag with the child's stuff in there. You don't have to say nothing else. And then you roll the window down, and now your wife, who's been chilling the whole time, probably steaming in the car. That's probably, the windows are probably fogged up because she's in there steaming in that car because she want to fight too. She don't like these women talking crazy to her husband, but he told her, stay your ass in the car. Do not get out this car. And she was probably like, yeah, but if they bring it over here, I'm about it. That's why she got her hoodie on. They was ready. So I'll let it finish up one more time.
$100 in your son's bank account, but $170 to that bitch.
You don't got shit in your
Get out your car. Get out your car. Get out
She had enough. The wife had enough. But let's just be real here. And I'm only going to cover this piece of it because I understand what people go through, okay? But yeah, no reply said Baby D from Friday came over. Hey, I'm trying to tell you right now, PJ Washington would have made short work of these people. But he had the wife over there. See, he shouldn't have done that because they want to fight her. This other lady's talking about, you gave her this, and man, what is it your business? What I give my wife when you're my baby mama's friend or whatever you are. I don't know if that's her mom. I hope it's a friend and not like Brittany Renner's mom. That would be interesting because I was talking about this is all a parenting problem, right? If that's her mom or something, I need to know now. Hold on. See, that's the thing. You got to be smart. No reply. You're right. You got to be smart when you deal with this kind of stuff. Why not have a lawyer on the phone when you come pick up your kid? That's good, but the lawyer can't do anything. So you're actually better off just recording the interaction. The lawyer can hear it, but then they would be much better able to deal with it if they have it recorded. So most importantly is record. You can call your lawyer, but you don't need to talk to your lawyer. You need to record the interaction. You need to get the hell away as quickly as possible. And at that point, just document. Because obviously she's trying to get him back in court. That's why she's recording stuff. She's doing all this, doing all that. You need to be doing the same, bro. I know a lot of times, fellas, we think, oh, man, I'm not doing that, man. That's some punk shit, man. I ain't worried about that. No. Protect yourself. Record. And I'll tell you why. Because he could leave this place with no recording, and she could call the police and say that he snatched the kid or that he threatened her or anything. When there's no video evidence, a person can say anything. I'm telling you this from experience. I had a person put a whole situation on my back. I was looking at some serious time. But fortunately, there was video of the incident that totally went against what that person said I did, and I was able to be let go on that. But if there was nobody recording, I was going to be short. Now, let me tell you what's the caveat of that is the person who recorded it under my instruction. As I entered the space, I said to that person, the second this mother starts wilding, record. And that's exactly what was done, and that's exactly what happened, and I needed that in court because that same person went and told these people I did some crazy stuff. I can't even get all the way into it, but I would have, if I really would have done the things that were said, then yeah, I deserve to go under the damn jail. But that's not what happened. Actually, it was a whole different story, whole opposite story than what was stated to the police. So you got to record, PJ. I know you want to call your lawyer and send them the recording after the fact. But you got to shut up. I don't think saying suck my dick is a threat. I don't think that would be considered an assaulting threat. It could be an insulting threat, but then she dove right into it, talking about I would love to. So you just knocked that whole argument out. And then the other friend said something similar. So you can't even say he was being lewd and lascivious or any of those kind of terms. Y'all screwed up your own recording and you look dumb. But I will say this, gentlemen, if you are in this situation, these are the rules. Once you have the child in your possession, get the hell out of there. Immediately. Don't roll the windows down. Lock the doors, as a matter of fact. Lock the doors, windows up, the whole situation. Let me tell you what, and I'm only going to bring my personal in there for a second because I got to get out of here. When my son was, I'd say like 7, 8 years old, and I was going pickup issues, right? Always something to argue about. There's always issues with the pickup, right? He got old enough that he could run out the house on his own. So it started, it was kind of like this situation where mother's escorting them. And so you got to wait for her to do whatever. You got to wait for her to get the kid, and then you can go. Once they got about 7, 8 years old, they can just come out the house. So what I would do is pull up, beep, beep, you hit that horn, pop the back door open. This is what I pop the back door open for them. And this little dude would come running out with his backpack and dive in the car and scare, and we was out of there. And this went on for quite some time, because before I started doing that, it was what PJ Washington dealing with every time I had to pick this kid up. So it got to the point where it's like, look, eventually this is going to escalate and become a problem. So we need to come up with a system of non-contact during these exchanges. So that's what we came up with. Stuck to that pretty much to this day. To this day. And I'll say what? Still not friends, but we ain't doing all this that PJ Washington going through. I don't have to go through all that no more. Okay? I still go through stuff, but not that. The pickup argument that happened every freaking week, it was always something. Nope, that's over with. Now it's police stations and the school. That's the pickup and drop off location, because people couldn't handle just doing a simple pickup like this. So I know my situation is not isolated. I know this is just what people deal with, but I'm telling you, gentlemen, the first thing you got to do is do not feed into the bullshit. This woman would love to get him locked up. She would love for him to have pushed her out the way, swung on her, anything. They were just egging it on. That's why it's been 3 weeks and the baby cried every time. Yeah, but when the baby came back, was he hurt? Was the baby starved when he came back? No, the baby was fine. So that's the pattern that's been developed, is that when you send the child with him, the child comes back and the child's not abused. So who cares if they're crying? See what I'm saying? But instead of focusing on, hey, every time that this has happened before, this baby's been fine. Nope, we're just going to keep this thing going. And this is the problem, guys. This is the problem. This is the problem. It's a parenting problem. Now, I'm hoping the best for this kid, because if nothing else, the child does have resources. Parents got a little money. Looks like they're not living in the hood. The father's married, and there's some other children involved, so there's a nice little family unit over there that this baby's going to grow up into with some, stepbrothers or whatever it is. There's a family unit over there, and this child's going to be part of that. Brittany Renner's probably not going to have a family unit. Just being honest. Sure, some simp will put another baby in her if she lets him, but as far as having like a normal life, she's not going to get to have a normal life. She's already destroyed that for herself by how she put herself out there, how she didn't even regard religion or marriage as actually sanctimonial. Change religions to Islam, but you're eating ham sandwiches. Get married, but you can't stay married more than a month. So you don't really regard any of those things as special. You don't care. You're just out here living. Got this baby. You didn't get as much child support as you want. You got $11,000 up front, and you got or $11,000 a month. I don't know what it is, but he apparently paid $11,000 for something. And I'll be honest, $11,000 ain't a lot of money, but if somebody gave you that, that's a gift. And you should be able to utilize that and be gracious and thankful. Not be a total bitch about it all the time. I just gave you $11,000. Calm down. Let me pick my son up, take your little funky ass back in the house, finish your workout or whatever you were doing. Leave us alone. But instead, you want to be out here with this child seeing this argument happening in front of their face, imprinting on their brain, getting ready to grow them up into a toxic exchange situation. So much so that if this continues, I'll tell you what's going to happen. It's not going to stop him from seeing his kid. It's going to stop where he picks the kid up from. It'll start being police stations and certain public parking lots and all types of stuff with cameras and everything. And honestly, that's a toxic thing too, but at least you get to see. And most guys will do whatever to see their kids. So if they say, all right, we got to do this pickup at the police station, all right, they don't want to go to the police station, but if that's the only way I'm going to get to see this child, then that's what we're going to have to do. It's unfortunate, guys. It is, but it is definitely something that we can fix if we take accountability for how we're acting. Like I said, I had my own problem, and I used to go through this every time. There was something to argue about, some, expletives being hurled, some new man coming out in the front looking like he want to fight. Like, I've been through this shit. But at the end of it, what started happening was, how do I get around it? Son, you're old enough now. You can open the door. You know what it is. Run your little ass out here. I'll have the door open for you. And then that's where it started. And then it continued, and now it's to the point I don't even have to, there's no interaction really anymore. But to think that at one point it was impossible to exchange this child without an argument. So there's room for improvement. There's room for improvement if we take it there. If we take it there. But you got to teach these kids right. And this interaction between mom and dad, this interaction between male and female is part of what you're teaching this kid. So if you're not respecting their father, how do you expect the child to respect their father? And if he's not respecting the mother, which he was up until the suck my dick thing, but honestly, she took that on the chest. Like Diddy at a Diddy party. She took it right on the chest, And so I guess it wasn't really a mean thing to say. It was making an observation of what her skill set is. I mean, as that skill set. So go do the thing you're good at and stop coming over here messing with me and my son. Or our son. So let me bring it over here. Let me close this thing. So you guys get the point. And the focus of today is parenting problems. I've been saying it, and I started noticing some of the other content creators saying it because a lot of people want the community to be better. They want people to not be out here killing each other and robbing and stealing and da-da-da-da. I don't know anybody that wants the place to be the Wild Wild West. Most people want society to be a calming, inclusive, Hakuna Matata type shit, right? That's what we want. We're not going to get that by not taking accountability for the negative energies that we're passing right into the next generation without care or concern. I don't think Brittany Renner gave a damn that baby was watching her and him, PJ, fight. He is seeing y'all 3 feet of his face with this argument. Confused. What are they arguing about? And you start that, and you start feeding this kid all types of crap. It's going to happen. There's going to be an attempt at parental alienation. There's going to be a lot of attempts. This is going to be a tough thing for him, man. It's not going to go away. The only way it goes away is if she remarries. Hear me? Oh, it's saying OBS is back up. Jeez. Hear me? Oh, it's saying OBS is back up. Jeez. Saying we're back up. I don't believe it. I got to get out of here. Yeah, we're done.